Hello, everyone. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your host for this evening, where I am so glad that you decided to join because we're going to talk about how you can still get grants even as a Black-owned organization or Black-led nonprofit. Yes, we are getting ready to cut through the chaos. I am in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. Go Cavs, go Cavs. But let me know where you're coming in from. So give that city and that state a shout out as you come in and let me know where you are coming in from. Again, I am in the land, and my name is Linda Peavy. I'm going to be your host, and oh, I'm so glad you joined because I'm going to give you information that you are going to want to share to your colleagues because it is very, very important, right? Cutting through all this grant chaos. Hello, is it Dr. Curley from Corpus Cove, Texas? Look at Texas showing up strong. Stacy is coming in from Houston, and Joby is coming in from Sacramento, California. Who else is here? Don't be shy. I see you coming in. Don't be shy. Hello, Miguel from Minneapolis. And look at the ATL coming in with Yvonne. Who else is here with me today? Giovanna from North Carolina. Who else? Who else? Who else? Give that city, that state a shout out. Welcome, William from Baltimore. Baltimore is in the house. And Pamela from Las Vegas. Las Vegas is with us. Hello, Pamela. And hello, Karen. Hello, Karen, again, right? I think you've joined us before from Greeleyville. Is that right? Greeleyville, South Carolina. And Ali. Ali is coming in from Chi-Town, Chicago. And Demetria from the Motor City, Detroit has shown up. Yes. And we've got Amber from Chi-Town. Look at Chi-Town showing up strong. And hello, Gladys from Clarksville, Tennessee. So we're going to get started because I really do have some very, very, very important information to share with you so that you understand what is going on with grants. And I hope you leave encouraged because I'm going to show you that absolutely there are grants not only still available, but there are grants still earmarked for you. Yes, as a Black-owned organization or Black-led nonprofit. So this is very important information that I need for you to ingest and then share with others. Hello, Amber. Where are you coming in from, Amber? All right, I'm going to get started because I do have quite a bit of information to share with you. I am going to share my screen. Let me make sure everything is good here. All right, all right, all right. And we can, all right, that is looking good. All right, let me get back here and share my screen. There we go. All right, it is looking good. Let me make sure everybody is in the right place. So this is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits, right? So very important, the information that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. All right. Now, let me give you just some information about me and my background and why I am here to help you. So yes, they call me the Grants Queen because I have secured over $17 million, almost $18 million now in funding. And this is year 17 of me owning my business. And for every one of those years, I have served as a professional grant writer. I provide grant writing instruction all over the country for many different organizations. I was in Seattle a couple of months ago giving a private grant boot camp to an organization, and I teach for many different companies from the Urban League to Goldman Sachs, where I am teaching grant writing. All right. And I am a proud alumnus of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program. My undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips. They won the MAC conference. Go Zips. Go Zips. Can you tell? I am a sports fan. And did I say go Cavs already? All right. Now, I have a business, yes. but I used to lead a nonprofit. So I have been on both sides of the coin. So let me know who is here with me today. Are you a nonprofit or a for-profit, meaning you could be a sole proprietor or a partnership or an LLC or an S Corp, or maybe you're both, right? Maybe you have both entities. Maybe you have a nonprofit and a for-profit. So let me know who is here with me in the chat. Nonprofit, nonprofit. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Who else? Who else? Who else? LLC, right? You're a for-profit then? For-profit LLC. So let me say to you all right now, this is very important. There are grants for both entities. There are grants for you if you are a nonprofit. There are grants if you are a small business. And I know that may seem new, right? Because when you thought about a grant, what did you think about? A nonprofit. But there are grants for small businesses as well. So we will talk about grants for both. So you're in the right place. Now, how did I get here? How did I get in this space? Because I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania. And I was there, just great job traveling all over the world. And then the bottom fell out. I got hurt. When I got hurt, I literally had to move back home to Cleveland, moved back home with my sister, put everything I own into a storage unit, and was with her for 4 years. It took me 2 years to even recuperate to the point where I could even work. I came home in a wheelchair. And after 2 years of healing, I couldn't find a job. I couldn't find a job because my experience was in publishing. And you know, Cleveland is not exactly the publishing campaign of the world, right? So I started LaPav Consulting. That's when I started my organization because I like to eat and I needed a roof over my head. And I started LaPav Consulting, and it's been 17 years. Haven't looked back. Well, this is what happened. Now, one of my first contracted positions as the owner of LaPav was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. And when I started, I don't think I was there for 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary. Yes. Now, we're going to keep it real tonight. So you know that there are often times when people who look like us are called in to do what? To save the program, to save the organization, to save the day. If you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. Well, you know what? I did it. And first of all, I had never seen a grant before. All right. When I say I'd never seen a grant before, I did not know what a grant looked like. It was not in my wheelhouse. I knew absolutely nothing about grants. But oh, I'm seeing some yeses. You know what I'm talking about. But I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. I won the grant, and it paid for my salary. So I want you all to understand that you can do this. You can write grants. You can win grants with zero experience, right? I'm going to show you what you need to do. But also, I learned what you can do with grant money because I hear from you. And I know you are tired of always using your own money to fund your project. And I know that you are tired of wearing all 20 hats in your organization. Well, grant money can hire staff, right? Can pay for your operations. There's so much you can do with grant funding. We will talk more about what you can utilize grant money for. We will also talk about some keys to funding and what is going on in the current grant landscape and how do you navigate your way through all of these federal and DEI cuts, right? And then we're going to talk about the importance of you being grant ready before you write a single syllable in that grant application. All right. And then what do you write? When you start writing, how do you write the grant application so that you're getting notice in a sea of applications? And then I have a surprise for you at the end. I even have a list of grants. And we're going to do a Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, drop your questions into either the chat or the Q&A box, one or the other. and I will get to them all, every one, at the end. And let me say this to you, I'm here to help you. You need help. There have been so many roadblocks put in your way to keep you from getting this grant funding, and I'm not going to be one of them. I'm here to help you. Therefore, you're going to get a copy of this replay. It is going to be free to you. I am not charging you for this information because this is important. So you'll get a copy of the replay. You'll have it either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. You'll have it forever. There's no like expiration date on when you can look at it or when you can see it. Because again, I want you to come back to it again and again and again. All right. So ready to go? Ready to go. Now, why are we here? Because we need access to grants. It shouldn't always be about loans, right? Are you tired of hearing about loans? I am. Grant money is what we want because grant money you don't pay back. And let me say this to all of you, you can do this. You can write a grant. Grant writing is not what it used to be. You're not writing some 500-page document. That's what I used to do. And a lot of these applications are only 2, 3, 4 pages. Foundations do not have the personnel to read through 500-page grant applications anymore, right? But what you must know is that there is a process to you winning the grant, right? Because this is about more than just what you write. Tonight is about more than what you write. There is an entire process to winning. And that is what I'm going to show you tonight. All right. It's about far more than what you write in the application. That's a start, but it's about more than that. All right. Now, let's talk about what is going on with grants because the federal grants are being cut. DEI is being cut, right? Some entire organizations are being eliminated. But here's what you must know, and this is what I want you to share with your colleagues and your friends and your family and other businesses. Federal grants do not equal all grants. There is this misconception that there is no longer any grant money because of what's going on in the White House. Nothing could be further from the truth. Grants come from thousands and thousands of resources. Many have nothing to do with what's going on in the federal government. And I rarely even talk about federal grants because they're typically hard to get, right? They're large dollar. You need quite a bit of experience. I've certainly secured them in the past. I speak of private, community, family, and corporate foundation grants, and they cover nonprofits and small businesses, so you're covered. This money is available, people, right? Every single day, this money is available, right? So be encouraged because the grant money is still here. You just have to know where to get it, right? And it is not coming from the federal government. All right. So be encouraged because this is an opportunity for you. You have an opportunity right now to increase your chances of getting grant money. You know why? Because a lot of people are assuming that there are no more grants. So what does that mean? There are fewer people applying because there's really this huge assumption that federal government shut down grants. Why am I even applying? There are no grants. But now you know different. Next, because the federal government has decreased the amount of grants, it is your local foundations and your corporate foundations and your family foundations that are filling in the gaps. It means you're going to need to look inward. You're going to need to look locally for your grants from your local community foundation and your local corporations. So again, opportunity for you right now to apply for grants. Now, this is also what I need for you to do. You need to diversify your funding. Do not put all those expensive eggs in one basket, right? You should be seeking grants, but also sponsorships and individual donors. And yes, you as a sole proprietor, you as a partnership, you as a coach, you as a consultant can get corporate contracts. They're not just for conglomerations. All right. And then your donor advisory funds, you will discuss those when you meet with your community foundations, but diversify your funding so that you're not relying solely on one particular income stream. But here's the great news, right? Again, a lot of these private foundations and your local community foundations, they have stepped in to cover some of these gaps. But also your state and your county and your city governments, do you know that they have grants? They usually keep it on the down low a bit, but that's why you must meet with your local officials and discuss with them what you are doing, your programming, even if you are a small business or a nonprofit. Because guess what? A lot of their funding does not come from the federal government. It comes through maybe taxes or is raised locally, but it means that money is there. All right. So that's another opportunity for you to get grant funding. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. We know that there is a huge backlash against DEI. We also know that DEI is not just inclusive of minorities, right? We know that the biggest beneficiaries have been white women, right? But DEI includes minorities, women of any ethnicity, veterans, the disabled. And now you have, especially the foundations that are really trying to kind of thread the needle. They don't want to alienate the funders, the people that give them funds, right? But at the same time, they're trying to adhere to what the White House is doing with those executive orders. So here's what they're doing. They're tweaking the language, right? And this is what you may have to do, because there are some foundations that will be tweaking their language, meaning you will need to tweak your language. It doesn't mean you change who you serve. At the end of the day, your job is to get the grant. So that means you may need to tweak your language and maybe take out the ethnicity of it or the gender of it and replace that with an emphasis on the outcomes or the need. And I'll show you how to do that. But this is why you may need two versions, right? You may need a version because there are some organizations that are doubling down on their giving to DEI, like the Kellogg Foundation or the Ford Foundation. It's clear on their website they give in the area of racial equity. They're not changing that. They've been around for decades, over a century, I think, for both of these organizations. But there are your newer foundations like Google and Apple and Delta and Costco. They are absolutely dedicated to serving communities of color. But they also have to change that language a bit so that they don't get the wrath of what's coming out of the White House. And this is what you're going to do, right? You're going to tweak that language a bit. We call it quiet DEI. You don't change who you serve. You do not change who you serve. You change how you discuss who you serve. All right, I want to give you an example. Let's say your program serves Black boys. That's your target population. You can say our program offers youth development opportunities for Black boys. That's what you do. In some cases, you may need to tweak that language a bit to say we provide youth development for historically underserved and underrepresented boys, Black boys, right? Serving boys disproportionately impacted by economic and educational inequities, Black boys, right? Supporting boys from communities designated as high need or underrepresented in STEM, Black boys, right? You don't change who you serve, you change how you describe who you serve, all right? Same for women. Let's say you're a coach. You have a program, we provide employment and career coaching for women. You may need to tweak that language a bit to say our program offers workforce development support for those facing systemic barriers to career advancement, women, right? Providing career development services tailored to those who experience unique workforce challenges due to caregiving responsibilities, wage gaps, and systemic inequities, women. We call it quiet DEI. All right. This is very, very, very important. So I need to make sure you have this and you understand it. So give me a guess in the chat. Do you understand what I am doing? Because there are times when you will need to tweak that language a bit so that at the end of the day, your goal is to do what? Get the grant money, even if you have to tweak that language. All right. Got it? Got it? All right. We got it. Now, I'm back to the grant basics. What do you need to know about grants overall? They are not paid back. Now, I'm just talking to nonprofits. Get your 501c3. This is just for nonprofits. You need this designation, which is your tax-exempt charitable organization designation. because many foundations, they're only going to give to a nonprofit with a 501c3, only for nonprofits, all right? Now it's usually taking 6 months, but now it's only taking 6 to 8 weeks to get your 501c3. So get your 501c3. All right, we're dropping a link. If you don't have it, you need to apply. We're dropping a link to the application from the IRS into the chat. Make sure you check the chat because there will be very important links dropped into the chat. All right. Now, from this point forward in the presentation, I'm speaking to all of you, nonprofits and for-profits, especially with this next slide. Everybody look at this slide. This is U.S. grant annual funding, foundation, corporation, and bequest giving. This is the latest 2023 figure. $189 billion, billion with a B. Do you see federal grants anywhere on this slide? No. This money is coming from foundations and corporations. This money is still available. It was available at the beginning of the year and it's available now and it's being given out every single day. So why not place yourself in a position to get it? But focus on this number, but don't be intimidated, right? I don't want you to look at this number and think, oh, Linda, like there's no way, it's just too much money. No, because at the end of the day, you just need what you need and you know what you need. So I want everybody to put into the chat, I just need a little bit. You just need a little bit of the $189 billion and you can do this. Like, don't be intimidated when you see this number and think it's like, there's no way you can get any of it because it's being given out every single day throughout thousands of foundations. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. Do you need it all? Kim, do you need it all? Miguel, do you need it all? Giovanna, do you need every bit of the $189 billion? Or will you just take a little slice of this pie? Karen, Christine, I'll take the crumbs. I'll take the crumbs that fall from $189 billion. That's right, Phoenicia. Phoenicia says, give me just a slice of this pie. Amber says, I'll take 20%. Thank you, please. All right. But at the end of the day, you can do this. You can get your share. All right. I see some great questions in the chat. Please keep asking them because I'm going to get to every single one of them at the end. Now, you need to be prepared to apply for grants. This is important. Now, because they call me the grants queen, I'm going to be dropping like nice cups of tea all evening. This is the first cup. It's called Grammarly. If you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in this chat right now. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your Word computer, right? And you use it when you're writing documents, writing emails. So you can use it in Word, but you can also use it in your Outlook program when you're writing those emails. You can use it in Excel. It self-corrects as you write. And now it has AI built in. And guess what, people? It's free. Why am I talking about Grammarly? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. And it's very easy to do. I am a professional editor, grant writer, and writer. I use Grammarly every single day. All right. So download it. It's free. It's free. All right. That's right, Joby. Just a little bit, just like Aretha singing RESPECT. That's what I'm talking about. Be glad I didn't sing that. All right. We are preparing to apply. This is very important. I need you to be grant ready. How do you become grant ready? You get those documents in order. Your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, small businesses, are you a legitimate business? Do you have your articles? Now, in some states, you need your business license. Depends on what state you're in. Ohio, Georgia, Florida, it is required that you have a business license. In Wyoming, you don't need one. Check with your Secretary of State. All right. Now, nonprofits, you know, it is absolutely a requirement that you have a board. Get that list together, your board of directors. For profits, if you have a board, great, get your list together. Also, please let this foundation know that you have supporters. Letters of support will strengthen your application. Where are they coming from? It could be your vendor. Drop those names. If you know the mayor, have the mayor or politicians write you letters, or it could be your pastor, your church, right? Make sure they get those letters in. Now, if you are currently operating, yes, you need your financial statements, including your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. Now, all of you will need just a simple operating budget, and all you're doing is estimating as to how much money it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year. And yes, you can estimate. I don't want this to stop you. Like, don't be afraid of these templates, right? Because you can get an operating template. All you're doing is writing down, you're just estimating how much money it's going to take for you to operate, because that budget will also help you to determine how much grant money you need. Got it? Now I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application and give you all best practices so that you understand how to write this application to showcase, to demonstrate your story. All right. Summary abstract, the first component that you will see. Whatever you do, save it to last. Never, ever, ever write it first, because you're going to complete the grant application. Then you're going to go in, you're going to start pulling out the most important components of that application and dump them all into the summary. All right, because this is the first impression that a foundation will have of your organization. So it has to be tight. All right. Now, your mission is everything. And for you small businesses that don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101 for you. You all must have a mission statement, because it is your mission that is going to connect you to the foundation that wants to give you money, because you're going to align it to that foundation. So if you are laser focused on K through 12 education, find a foundation that also has a passion of education. So if you don't have a mission statement, homework 101 for you. Now, every organization has a history. Don't ever leave that section blank. If you are new, talk about the activities that led to you opening, because they become a part of that organization's history. Leadership is easy. Your executive director, your CEO, but you always include your board of directors. Yes, everybody will get a replay. Everybody will get a replay. This next section is how you are going to separate yourself from everybody else. This is crucial. The world of grants changed about 2 years ago. Everything now is focused on impact using numbers. Like the feel good, I just want to help the world, I just want to create world peace. No. How is it that you're helping the world? Use real numbers. What has been your results? Example, let's say you have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed into shelters? You have an online coaching service and career development. How many people have you led to their future careers? Use real numbers to show your results, to show your impact. You want to open up a restaurant? Maybe you've opened it. How many people have you served? Are you providing some other service to the community? What has been the impact of your store being located where it is? And it could be economic development, right? Maybe you have caused a renaissance in the area using real numbers. Maybe you haven't opened yet. Maybe you haven't, maybe a tutorial or tutoring organization. Maybe you want to help middle school kids. Now you can say, if those kids take my tutoring program, I expect the impact to be that they will increase their reading scores by 5%. So whether you are currently open or maybe you're going to open, I still need for you to write about impact using real numbers. This is everything now when it comes to who is getting grant money. All right. And at the end of the day, as you are writing this application, and sometimes I think the small businesses really struggle with this, you must write as if you are solving a problem or addressing a need. Doesn't matter if you are a nonprofit or a for-profit. I want to give you the example of a small business. Let's say you are a bakery. You want a $20,000 grant to relocate downtown. Now you might be asking, what is she solving? She's making cakes all day. Or maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods. So that's the issue she is solving. Or maybe it's community development because she wants to help, right? Renew the area that she's going to be located in. So it's all about economic development. And that's the issue that she is addressing. There is always one. And whatever that issue is going to connect you to the foundation that wants to give you money because they're giving money in the same area. That's why you have to know how and where foundations give, right? How do you do this? You go to their websites. The problem is 90% of foundations don't even have a website, but usually your larger ones do. All right. It's only the really small family ones that sometimes don't have a website. All right. This is another area that is of concern because many of you will say to me when I ask you, who are you serving? You will answer, I help everybody. You cannot help everybody. This is how you get burnt out. You must niche down. The more you niche, the easier it will be for you to get grant money. The more you niche down, if you tell me you serve the homeless, we're going to ask you the homeless who? Homeless veterans, homeless moms, homeless kids, right? If you tell me you help veterans, how? Veterans that are homeless that need to go into a transitional housing, veterans with PTSD, they need mental health and wellness counseling. Niche down. You should have one, maybe two target populations because the more people you try to serve, the more you dilute your services. All right. The more people you try to serve, the more you dilute your services. All right. One, maybe two. If you want to drop yours in the chat, if we have time, I'll give you some feedback in the end. At the end of the day, be excited about writing this grant application because here is your opportunity to finally tell your story to somebody who wants to hear it. Because these foundations, they want to hear from you. They want to know how you've been changing lives or what type of outcomes you've been able to achieve. And there's no better way of showcasing your impact than using testimonials. Ask your clients to pick up their cell phone and give you a 30-second testimonial. Put it on the homepage of your website. And yes, foundations will go to check out your website. All right. And no, don't let that be what stops you because right now, Hello Alice is providing websites for $59. So don't ever let that stop you. Just get your website done. All right. Now, you have a decision to make. Are you asking for operating money or program project money? You have to decide one or the other per foundation. And general operating support we love because when you get a general operating support grant, you decide where to put the grant money. You could put it towards your lease, IT, right? Your salaries, right? Personnel, because it's really to help you pay for your administrative costs to like shore up your infrastructure, right? But most grants are given to a particular program or project. And let's say you have that restaurant and you want to start a delivery service, that could be a particular program. But at the end of the day, you must always apply to multiple foundations. This is not a one and done industry, right? So I want you to tell me into the chat, why do you think that is? Why do you think it is important to apply to more than one foundation, right? Let me know in the chat. Keep in mind, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon, right? A marathon. So let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Why? I want to know in the chat. Diversity and funding sources, Christiane, yes. Why else? To gain more support for your business and keeping it afloat. Phoenicia, is that right, Phoenicia? Yes. Here's another reason. Grants are not guaranteed. I need for you to hear me loud and clear on that one because that is how some of you get scammed. And I hear horror stories every day about people being scammed because somebody told them they could guarantee them grant money. And there's really no such thing. It's all over the internet. I hear about it all the time. People being scammed. Somebody said, oh, give me a certain amount of money and I can guarantee you a certain dollar amount and you never hear from them again. Grants are not guaranteed, apply to multiple foundations. Now, I can't not possibly overstate the importance of each and every one of you having community partnerships. It will strengthen your grant application. It's tax season. Let's say you have an accounting firm. You give a tax talk, free tax talk at your local library. I think libraries are incredible. I think they're underutilized. They're phenomenal community partners. They're going to promote your tax talk. I think they have everybody's email address. Why is this important? One, you can list that library as a community partner. Two, it's going to increase your level of visibility. This is important because foundations are always looking to see who's doing what in the community. And you want to connect with well-respected organizations like the Urban League or maybe an HBCU or 100 Black Men of America and work with them, right? They're going to elevate your presence in your program. Now, I'm going to give you an example to make this crystal clear. Let's say a young lady has a re-entry program. She wants to make sure that prisoners, once they are released back into society, that they become successful members of the community. Now, you know, she must interview them while they're in jail, right? To make sure they qualify for her program. I want you to tell me right now in the chat, who should be her community partners? Who should she be meeting with? Keep in mind, she's got to interview them before they are released from jail. Who should be her community partners? Who should she be working with? Let me know in the chat. Who? Who should she be working with? Who? Who? Caseworkers, absolutely. Phoenicia, caseworkers, right? Do you want them to be able to work? Do you want them to have jobs when they're released from jail? What about employment agencies, right? Yes, Joby, local law enforcement, absolutely. She's got to talk to the sheriff's office before she can even get access to the jail, right? Local employers, those who might hire ex-offenders. Do you want them to have something to eat? Do you want them to have some type of housing? What about the shelters? Right, nonprofit organizations that might be able to train them in some type of a skill, right? Think about this. Do they need clothes? Do they need some type of job training? Maybe the food bank, because you want to make sure they get food. So this is not difficult. This is not difficult. So this is what I need for all of you to do. We just came up with maybe 5 or 6 organizations. This is your homework. You need to name 5 organizations in your community that you are going to partner with based on your organization. All right. Very important for you to have partners. And also make sure you're listing your goals, and they have to be SMART goals. Keep in mind, you are asking for pre-grant money. You need to be able to showcase what's going to happen if I get the grant money. What is the ultimate goal? Maybe I have a literacy program where I want to teach kids how to read, but the ultimate goal is the fact that I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. And I want to do that by teaching kids how to read. But that's not the SMART goal. The SMART goal would be more specific, right? I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. What did I do there? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Anybody into the chat, what did I do? You're going to have to list your SMART goals in the grant application. So what did I do? Into the chat, what did I do? Let me know what I did. What did I do? What did I do? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? You're going to need to list your SMART goals. Look at, there we go. I added clear stats. Right, Amber? Right, Manisha? I added statistics. This is what you're going to need to do. 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5, 5-year time frame. List your SMART goals. All right. Now we're on to the budget. This is how you're going to describe your use of the grant money. How are you using the grant money? Right? But you have to itemize your expenses. So if you need, for example, hire an executive director, you're asking for a $50,000 grant. You can't just write any 50 grant for 50 grand rather for an ED. Is it a contracted person? How many hours are they working a week? How many work weeks out of the year? And what is the payment? Do you need supplies? How many do you need? Who's using them? Always connect the money back to the goal of the program. And as you are describing your use of the grant money, that goes into the budget narrative, which I always write. That's a clue for you. Even when grant applications don't ask for the budget narrative, I always provide one because I want the foundations to know exactly how I'm utilizing the money. And the narrative will be a description of how you're utilizing the money. The actual numbers go into an Excel file, which is your budget. And at the end of the day, I think you're getting there. You're saying like, Linda, I think I may be able to do this. I mean, this sounds good, but I tell you, I don't know. I don't think I have time. I don't think I have time to write these grants. I don't have time to write these grants. Remember what I said at the beginning. Some of these grant applications are literally 3, 4, 5 pages. So I have a question for you. And now with AI, the time issue, no, is not there. AI can help you tremendously. We'll talk a little bit more about AI in a few moments. But I have a question for you, especially those that are thinking like, I don't have time for this. Like, I just don't. I have a question I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Do you have time to get free money? I need an answer in the chat. Let me see if anybody has time to get free money. I'm saying yes. I'm saying absolutely. I'm saying yes, yes. I'm saying yes, I have all the time. I'm saying yes. I'm saying indeed. I'm saying absolutely. So it sounds like you've got time to get free money. I'm saying see. It sounds like I'm saying I will create the time. Sounds like you got time to get free money. Therefore, I need for you to spend just a little time on the process to get the free money. You're going to create some relationships. This is what you need to do. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar, this is it. You need to meet with the foundation before you submit the application. This is often the deciding factor as to whether or not you get the grant money. Yes, they want to meet with you. They're considering giving you money. You want to meet with them because oftentimes in this meeting, they will share insight about the grant that is not on their website. I probably set up 1,000 of these meetings. I always remember one 30-minute Zoom meeting. My client got $30,000. And yes, I said a Zoom meeting because most of these meetings are Zoom meetings. Now, if the foundation is in close proximity to you, meet in person. But typically, these are Zoom meetings. Zoom meetings. All right. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to send them an email. In the email, you are setting up a meeting. You're describing your organization, talking about your target population, aligning your mission or your project, but you are never asking for money. Never, ever, ever are you asking for money in this email. That is a quick rejection letter. You're asking for a meeting. In the meeting, you're asking for money. Now we're on to the grant research. This is how you find the grants. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the US. They're also called Candid. $50 a month or free access at your local library. Grants.gov is for federal grants. Lilly Foundation, if you are a church or a faith-based foundation, absolutely, there are grants for you. So yes, you maybe could be faith-based. Maybe your church has its 501c3. Yes, you can get grants too. Grant Gopher, all right, $10 a month. Grant Watch is, excuse me, $20 a week or $200 for the entire year. Grant Station is $200 for the entire year. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org is Black owned. Please, please, please sign up to their free e-newsletter. Look, Google is fine, but I need for you to be in portals where all they do is specifically provide information about grants. All right. Now, really quickly, I want to show you how you conduct this grant research. This is Grant Station, $200 for the entire year. Look to my right, areas of interest, areas of interest. For every block you see, there's probably 10 to 15 drop-down blocks. So if you are focused on communities of color, you pick your area of interest. You pick your target populations. Who are you serving? African Americans, homeless, veterans. You push a button, you get a list of grants. Now, let me say something to you about location, because a lot of you are just leaving money on the table, just leaving money on the table. Start local. It is easier to get local grant money. Meet with your local community foundation. And remember what I said earlier? The local funders, the local grant makers are increasing, right, their funding because of what's happening on the federal level. Now, don't disregard the national grant makers. An organization could be headquartered in Texas, and that foundation is still giving money to you, and you're in Tennessee. And for my global grant makers, this is absolutely for you. I think I saw a question about that. You could live here in the United States and serve a population in Kenya and find grants in Kenya. You could live in Kenya and serve a population in Kenya and still get grants. You have to remember, this is not just for US organizations. These global grant makers, as you see right in the middle, are conglomerates. These organizations are all over the world, right? So this is not just for organizations here in the US. All right. All right. But this is Grant Station. Now, hot grant areas, your private and community foundations, health care and telehealth, STEM, and of course, AI, sustainable energy and climate action. I just saw a $1 to $3 million grant for sustainable energy. Those are typically pretty large dollar grants, as is the AI innovation. Now, here's the hottest area of all, workforce development. If what you are providing is generating jobs, or maybe you have job training, include in your area of interest workforce development. That's a hot, hot, hot topic. And then economic and community revitalization. Now, I won't go through these all, but I just wanted to let you understand that there are still grants, even given everything that is going on, that is specifically focused on you as a Black-led organization. The Annuity Freedom Grant, that's a financial literacy grant. The Pearl Milling Company, now they may need to tweak their language because they used to be Aunt Jemima, by the way. They're focused on programs that help Black girls and Black women. Operation Hope, John Hope Bryant wants to build 1 million Black businesses. He's over 400,000 now. Do you have a brick and mortar? Like you have a physical location? Main Street Grant, wish.com. LISC, they've generated over $1 billion giving to communities of color, right? NAACP, they have a list of grants. Let's go down to, I won't go through them all. Let's go down to Amarillo. They're out of Texas. Because you might be saying, Linda, I don't know if this is for me. I'm too small. I'm a solopreneur. Do you know that solopreneurs get grants? I was saying this a couple of weeks ago, and someone in the chat was like, yes, I'm a solopreneur. I got grant money. It is very possible. So you don't need to be some huge organization. Or you might be saying, Linda, I don't have an organizational chart where I'm paying people. I don't even pay myself. All volunteer nonprofits, all volunteer organizations can get grant money. You don't need some huge organizational chart. You know what you need? You need impact. You need results. Do you have a startup? Busy or sky's the limit? They both provide grants for startups. And for you ladies, this is your slide. I'm only going to focus on one, and that's Amber Grants for Women, because they give away $30,000 every single month. All right. Now, on to banks. I want to know in the chat, I want to hear from you. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Like banks and money, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Let me know in the chat. First thing comes to your mind when you think about banks and money. While I take a sip. Let's see what you got. Top lenders. Paying them. All right, all right, all right. Do you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money in the United States? Grant money, not loans. Grant money, right? And it doesn't have to be your bank. It could be a bank with a great presence in your community, maybe a regional bank or national headquarters bank. But I'm giving you 4 hot leads right now because they all accept applications. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and Truist. And yes, you'll have to meet with them, absolutely, right? But I'm letting you know that there is so much money available that has nothing to do with what's going on in the White House. All right. And that's what I need you to spread to people that you know that are thinking, oh, there's no grant money. AI. Let's talk about AI. AI is not coming. AI is here. I use it every day, multiple times a day. Now, as it pertains to AI and grant writing, what do you need to know? There is no magic bullet. There's no button that you push and poof, a magical grant application. That is not even how AI works. You have to feed AI information. There is no getting around you being able to understand and write the foundation of your information, the foundation of your organization, your history, your needs statement, excuse me, your impact statement, your mission, your target population. Then you feed that information into AI and you let it regenerate and perfect your copy. But you've got to be able to write original copy about your organization, and then you feed it into AI. But that original copy, you want to be as good as possible, right? So this is where my bonus surprise comes in, because I have a program that can help you. I created a grant writing course that can help you generate phenomenal information about your organization from soup to nuts. And it includes my coaching, which is the key that is going to propel you forward truly. This is how I won $17 million. I put into a course for you so you could do the same, so you can win the same, right? The course will teach you how to write every part of a grant application. It will teach you the best grant research techniques. But here's where the coaching comes in. Let's say you set up that meeting with the foundation. Do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it? And do you know what you should be bringing with you, what you should be showcasing? Now, the course will teach you how to write your budget, but do you know how much to ask for? Should you be asking for program project money or operating money, right? That's where the coaching comes in. You literally come into the Facebook group. We have a phenomenal private Facebook group, and you ask as many questions as you would like, and you're going to get answers for everyone. And that's how we support you, because you need to be in a community of support right now, because time is wasted with you throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks. No, this is about a framework. This is about strategy that you need to actually start winning grants instead of writing a bunch of grants that are going to be rejected and you get frustrated and you stop. Now, the course will give you 12 modules, 35 lessons. You get a video in front of every lesson, but this is not some YouTube course of videos. This is an actual course where I am asking you questions in the lessons. And guess what? Because I've been a grant writer, a professional grant writer, I've also been hired to develop grant applications and to develop grant questions. So the questions in my course come from real grant applications. So now you're answering those questions in the confines of a course where you get support and help to make sure that you are answering those questions in the best possible way, so that when you are done with this course, you have a grant template that you're using to apply to grant after grant after grant. That's why this makes it faster and easier, because you do the work in here and you start applying for grants. And yes, I have grant examples for you to use. And this is what I'm doing that nobody else in the country is doing. You have a list of over 600 organizations that provide grants. And I talked about the private Facebook group because it is everything. The students, I tell you, they drop more grants in the Facebook group than I do. And I drop a lot of grants in the Facebook group. So if you want to know where there are even other grants, you come into the Facebook group. But because I'm here to help you, you get an hour of live group coaching with me every single month. Every single month. All right. Because this is where I am dedicated to helping you. Now, these numbers that you see is not what you pay for the course. This is what the course is worth because I've had it audited 3 times now. And it's literally on like a university level, only it's easy to follow. So the 12 modules that you get and the 35 lessons are worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The funding list is worth more than $500 now because we keep adding to it. The workbooks, planners, and grant trackers worth more than $350. This is the slide you want to see. And let me be crystal clear about this. This is a $5,000 course. My coaches, they beg me to charge $2,000 for it, but I just won't do it because I know if I keep the price low, I can help more people. And with all of the barriers and all of the challenges being put in your way, I'm just not going to be one of them. I try to keep it low so that as many people as possible can get this help and get this direction so that you're not out here just writing grant after grant, getting rejected, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to write or how to make those alignments or what you say in those meetings. So my course is $497. That's what people pay. And they're very, very, very happy to pay it. Because when you get inside the course, you see it's a $5,000 course because you get everything you need. You hopped on the webinar tonight. I know you could have been somewhere else at 7 o'clock, right? I know you could have been somewhere else. So I'm giving you $200 off for 3 days, right? Trying to remove all the barriers. It's $297. That's one payment. That's not a monthly payment. That's one payment. Like this is literally how I serve the community. Now I have other services that are much, much, much more expensive. But this course I keep low because why? It is getting organizations funded. It is getting organizations funded. It's $297. Please use this code MAY01 because that will take off the $200. And if you need a little more help, maybe you need 2 months to pay, I can give you 2 months to pay. It's $175 a month. Use your code MAY01. Put a little T on the end for 2 months payment so that we know you want the 2-month payment plan, MAY01T, all lowercase, And you read right at the end, the course never expires. You know, that's different, right? You know, most of these courses out here expire after what? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. When I said I'm here to help you, I meant that because we need help. And there are some serious barriers that are being placed in our way. And I'm here to try to knock down as many as possible. All right. So this is everything you get. I'm trying to get you this grant money. You get the course, the Facebook group, the coaching. Everything's tax deductible, believe it or not. Yes, you write off every penny of the $297. If you are a nonprofit, it's an expense. If you are a for-profit, it's a business and educational expense. And you even get a certificate of completion, right? So $297 for everything. Use your code MAY01. If you want the 2-month payment plan, you got it. MAY01 with the little T. You have until Sunday to get the additional $200 off. All right. So if you want to buy the course, the link is in the chat. This is what you do. You click the link, you will come to this page. You want to pay the $297 and get everything, click purchase now, right? You will come to this page here. Now, as you can see, it's $497. You have a coupon and put that coupon, MAY01, it will take off $200. You're paying $297 for everything. Most people do not have a coupon. You have a large one. And you see this little block here. Let's say you want to meet with me privately, you and me one-on-one, or we're going to do a deep dive into your organization. I'm going to look at your mission, vision, infrastructure, your target population, your programming, and you will leave with complete clarity. Even if you come to me with 10 different ideas, you don't know which one to focus on, you will leave with one. You will leave with strategy notes. You will leave with a video of the session, which is why it's $495. The only time it's $195 is if you buy it with the course. Then you add it to the $297. And I have something special for those of you who are just paying the one payment, right? $297, or you want to add on the $195, the one payment, we have a buy now, pay later. Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna, 4 months, same as cash. Do you know that means that if you pay $297 for this course, it's a $5,000 course, right? 4 months, same as cash, is $75 a month. $75 a month. I don't even know of a $75 grant, right? So as soon as you get a grant, you pay back everything, right? So if you want to take advantage of the buy now, pay later, you can go through the same notion, hit the $497, put in your coupon code, pull up the $297. It's up to you as to whether or not you want to add the $195. And you keep hitting the payment method boxes. Keep hitting like pay another way until you see Affirm or Klarna or Afterpay. 4 months, same as cash. You just want to pay the $297. We take credit cards and PayPal and what is it, Google Pay and Cash App Pay. Now, if you would prefer, we have our own little 2-month payment plan. 2 months. Hit the 2 times 275. Please input your code. Remember, MAY01, the little T. Everything's in the chat, by the way. It will take off $100. You're paying $175 a month for 2 months. And yes, you can still add on your Ask the Expert. Now, for those of you who are truly, truly, truly ready to do a deep dive into this grant industry and be ready, I have a boot camp. It's May 8th and May 9th. I'm teaching you 2 months worth of work in 2 days. In 2 days. You will leave May 9th with a completed grant application. You will leave with a grant template that you're going to use to start applying to grant after grant after grant. You will leave with a list of local and national grants. You will leave knowing how to use AI to write grants. You will leave with an implementation plan. You will leave with a list of partners after 2 days. February 27th and 28th, I held a boot camp. Keisha attended. 6 weeks later, she got her first grant. A couple of days ago, she announced on Facebook she had her second grant for $100,000. She had never written a grant before. She had never written a grant before. The boot camp was $1,997 or 2 monthly payments of $1,249. You get literally over $10,000 worth of materials, including the course. All right, so May 8th and May 9th. Now, these people here only bought the course, right? Less than $300 they spent. Whitney won $200,000 in 1 year. She has a doula organization. She went local, she went national. She did exactly what I'm asking you to do. These people are following my direction. Kanisha got $100,000 about 3 months ago. Last week, Kimberly, $84,000. Last week. Cherie, last week, $11,000. This was her second grant from the same organization. Last year, she won $10,000. Here's a clue. If you get a grant, you always ask for more in year 2. Here's a massage company, LLC, $20,000. We are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business. How would you like to get a $20,000 grant and you have a massage company? Alicia, $40,000. Christina has an online educational consulting firm. Many of you, for some reason, think you can't be online, that you have to have some physical store. No, most of these people have online businesses, by the way. Christina, $10,000. She said I would never even have the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for this grant writing course. Guess who won the LegalZoom grant? Emily. Cornisha, $750 grant from Walmart, that elusive Walmart grant. She bought the one-on-one. She said, Linda, that one-on-one we had is getting my organization funded. I'm telling you, the one-on-one, I'm not coming to play with you. By the end of that hour, you leave with complete clarity. And you even leave with a little mini list of grants too. All right. Now, these are your bonuses because I need for you to get grant funding. I talked about AI. You need to understand AI because I don't want the time issue to be an issue, right? So I wrote an introductory guide to writing grants with AI. AI grant guide, 10 steps to easier and faster grant writing is $99. Is free. You'll get it free if you buy by Sunday. You get it free, right? Here's bonus two. If you buy today, you're going to get the Buy Black grant list. Now, you might have heard of the U.S. Black Chambers. They're the headquarters for all of the Black Chamber of Commerces all around the country. They have a Buy Black list, a list of grants geared towards Black organizations, including Black small businesses and Black nonprofits. It just released today. Today, I'm going to give you the most recent issue. You can subscribe for $195. I have the most recent issue for you today. For those of you who are thinking that there are no more grants geared for Black businesses, that's what they want you to believe when you look on TV. When you look at your screen on TV, all the media, oh, there are no grants, right? That's what they want you to do, is to stop. But the best thing you can do is to be successful in spite of what is going on. And to do that, you need to understand how to get grants. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to the Q&A because I saw a lot of questions. All right. Before we get to the Q&A, before anybody leaves, I need for you to do something for you, not for me. I need for you to do this for you because people, it's May 1st. Like, time is out to be on the sidelines. I told you there are opportunities that weren't even present before the current administration took over, right? So you need to move on this. So right now, all of you, I want you to write into the chat, because I believe in manifestation. Get it from up here into these fingers, into this chat. I want you to write, I am ready to get grant money. Every one of you, write this into the chat. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. Phoenicia, Patricia, that's what I'm talking about. Write this down, everybody. Get it out of you. Manifestation, get it out of you. William, are they the only three ready to get grant money? Are they the only three ready to get grant money? Gladys, Dr. Curley, that's what I'm talking about. I'm ready to get grant money. This is for you. This is not for me, because some of you, I know some of you have been procrastinating a little bit. Time is out, people. Time is out. Dimitri, Pamela, Maishi, I'm ready to get grant money. Barbara, like, you write this out for you. I get it. We all procrastinate. Thank you for being honest. Like, I told you I'm going to be real tonight. We all do it. But time is out when it comes to this grant money, because they are putting up every hurdle possible to keep you from getting this grant money. And I'm letting you know, Black organizations are winning grants every day. But there's a framework to this, and I'm wanting you to come into this community so that I can share and help you with this framework, right? Rudy, that's what I'm talking about. I'm ready to get grant money, all right? For those of you who are asking, I'm going to do this really, really quickly. You're wanting to know how to buy. I'm going to share, let's see, let me quickly share my screen so that I can just take you, there we go, through this process super quickly, and then we're going to go to the Q&A. All right, there we go. You want to pay the $297, right? One price, $297. Hit purchase now. I'm doing this live. Hit have a coupon, input your coupon. What is it? MAY01, MAY01. Hit apply. You see where it took off $200. You're paying $297. You want the one-on-one with me. You add the little box there. You add $195. It's up to $497. You input your email, set up your little account there, and then you keep hitting payment method. It could be pay another way until you see affirm, right? The little drop down menu, Klarna or Afterpay, if you want to take advantage of the 4 month same as cash. You don't have to. If you want to just make the payment, hit your credit card or bank statement or what is it, Google Pay or Cash Out Pay. For those of you who just want the little 2 payment plan with us, hit 2 times 275, right? We are trying to give you options here. Put in MAY01 with the little T. This is going to take off $100 a month. Now you're only paying $175 a month for 2 months. Got that? All right. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to get to the Q&A because I see lots of questions. All right. How do I apply for a grant? With a new LLC, you apply for a startup grant. But you have to do more than that. Go through the replay, go back through the replay because I've explained the process, right? But if you are new, you're going after startup grant money, right? And Kim, helloalice.com and Amber Grants for Women, they both have startup grants, especially for women. All right. Pamela. So I get it. And it's fine. Guess what? This course is self-paced. It's self-paced. Go at your own speed. When you need help, you come into the Facebook group and you ask for help. And actually, let's say you start writing. Let's say you start writing, you've written a couple of pages, or maybe you've written the letter of inquiry, right? You can come into the Facebook group. We have a portal. We have a file portal. Drop it into the portal and ask for advice on a volunteer basis. That's only on a volunteer basis, right? Because with this price point, volunteer basis. But there's a couple of thousand people in the Facebook group. I have professional grant writers. I have people with doctorates. Just come in and ask. You'll get help, right? So that's okay. It is self-paced. It is online. Go at your own pace so that you can get the help you need along the way. But the first time you submit that grant application, you can come into the portal and just ask for another set of eyes on it. All right. But get the help you need in the Facebook group, the group coaching calls, right? The last group coaching call is usually the last Monday of the month, therefore it was Monday. Now, because of that, it means I'm not having another one until the end of May. I do not want you to wait until the end of May to get help from me personally, right? So what I'm going to do for you, when you come into the Facebook group, right? When you buy the course, you're going to get 3 emails. One email will be your link to the Facebook group. Come into the Facebook group. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. When you answer my question, I'm going to literally give you some resources as to where you should be looking for grants, personalized to your organization, totally free, totally free. All right. Excuse me. All right. Okay. I'm going to go over to the webinar chat. Yes, everything's tax deductible. Yes, you'll get the replay tonight. All right, let's see. Yes, $297 covers everything. The course, the Facebook group, and the group coaching. Linda, have you found that the grant descriptions give you clues as to what kind of language you need to skirt the DEI language detection software? Yes, that's why I told you exactly what you need to do to skirt the DEI language detection software, right? Right. And sometimes they do. That's why I'm saying there are some foundations that are not trying to skirt any DEI language detection software. They are proudly saying we give grants in the area of women or racial equity, right? But there are other organizations that need to be more careful, and they're using the terms that I gave you, like underrepresented, right? Or underprivileged, right? Go back to the slides that say quiet DEI and look at some of the language that I use, and that will be language that you will want to use as well. All right. Great question. Let's see. Other questions. Can I get a grant for my skirts business? Health and beauty products? Absolutely. So it's not, excuse me, it's not a question, excuse me, as to whether or not there's grant money. That's not the question. The question is, how do you find it? Because unless you're doing something illegal, there's grant money. You just have to know how to find it. And that is what the course will do. Health and beauty products, right? I mentioned before, I don't know what those products are, but for example, Shea Moisture, right, has a grant if you're opening up a beauty salon. L'Oreal, right, one of the largest cosmetic companies in the world, they have a grant every single year if you have a beauty product. So again, it's about how do you find your funder? And that's what the course will help you with. It's not a matter of whether or not there's grant money. The grant money is out there. How do you find it based on what you are providing? All right. I train local leadership on utilizing AI tools, right? So you should be seeking out some AI grants. But it also depends on how you're training them. What are you training them on? That's why you need to be specific, right? How is it that you are training them to become better leaders using AI? Because the more you niche down, the more deep you get into your description, the easier it will be for you to find grants. All right. I'm preparing to build a hospital in Nigeria, working on my 501c3. I'm partnering with the government. I want to know, what do I need to have ready before I meet with you? Go back to the slide that says grant ready. Go back to that slide that says grant ready. So if you want to do the one-on-one with me, make sure you have at least those items available. Or if you don't, our one-on-one, I can help you to get those developed, right? But the one-on-one is going to literally help you. If you are seeking funding in Nigeria, literally just maybe 3 weeks ago, I had a one-on-one with a client who also she was building a school. You're building a hospital. Excuse me. She was building a school in Nigeria. So we were able to get a list of grants for those who are helping to fund organizations that are building educational institutions in Nigeria, right? So keep in mind, these grants are available for many, many parts of the world, right? And I want to use this as an example because for most of you, you need to be looking in multiple areas for your grants. Now, she's building a hospital in Nigeria. It will be a 501c3. She's partnered with the government. There are multiple grants she should be looking for. One, right, is because she is targeting people in Nigeria. So she can literally look for grants that are geared towards organizations that are helping people in Nigeria. That's one. She wants to build a hospital, right? That's medical care. That's health and wellness. Look for her health and wellness grants, right? She is a female. Look for grants that are specifically geared towards women of color. That's number 3, right? Now, depending on what else she wants to do with that hospital, there may even be other areas. Because there are organizations here in the United States, there's some of the larger ones, right? The Robert Johnson Woods Foundation, probably one of the largest foundations that give grants specifically to address racial disparities in healthcare. The Kellogg Foundation, right? Those are just 2. But there's 3 different areas that I named just quickly where she should be looking for grants. And that's the same for all of you. Multiple categories where you should be looking. All right. All right, let's see. Where can I look to find the right donor? So I covered that. I gave you like 8 or 9 different options, but the course will help you to know exactly where to look. All right, let's see. Yes, churches absolutely can get grants. Do you know that Walmart gives grants to churches? Yes. Do Six Sigma and grant writing complement each other? How so? How are you using Six Sigma, right? I think if you have your, like you have maybe your I don't know what it's called, like a black belt in Six Sigma, that ability to do research, right, is absolutely going to help you in writing grants, right? That productivity certification that you have will help you when you get into the weeds of the grant application. Because when I say to you, write about impact, you're going to need to pull up some numbers. So let's say you want to, the hospital, right? She wants to open a hospital in Nigeria. In order for her to prove that there is a need for a hospital in Nigeria, she needs to be able to provide some research that says maybe the birth rate is horrific in Nigeria because there's a lack of appropriate medical care, right? Maybe people die from diseases a lot faster than any other part of the world because there's a lack of medical help, right? You pull up that information. So with your Black Belt Six Sigma, right, you'll be accustomed to doing that kind of research. So I think that's where, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking, that may be where that type of certification will help you. But in essence, those are two totally different things, though, the grant application and whatever process you went through to become I think it's a black belt in Six Sigma. All right, let's see. Have you ever used Instrumental? Absolutely. I used Instrumental for 2 years. It's really good if you can afford it. It's $200 a month. So if you can afford it, it is a great tool. I think what's really different about it, I did find some grants on Instrumental that I didn't find anywhere else, I have to say. But also, they have a team that will help you. Specifically, if you're looking for research in a particular area, there's a team dedicated to you, which is probably why you're spending the $200 a month on it. But I found it to be very helpful. It is pricey though. So if you can afford it, get it. What about your local bank for grants? Do they help? I don't know. You have to meet with your local bank, right? Some banks give grants, some banks don't give grants. That's why you have to meet with them. But I would look at a bank that maybe has a regional office or a headquarters office, right? And that could be your local bank. It could be a bank that's maybe a family-owned bank. You've got to sit down and meet with them. But many banks provide grants, and not just the large banks. I do want to say the credit unions provide more sponsorships. They don't really provide grants. They provide sponsorships. It's the banks that provide sponsorships and grants, okay? Are there grants for travel advisors? So that's a good area to look for in your industry. And let me say a word about looking to your industry for grants. So for example, you could be in real estate. There are real estate associations that give grants. Travel advisors, look to your industry. Do you know that every major airline has a foundation? Same industry, travel advisors, the airlines, right? You have a transportation company, look to UPS or FedEx, same industry, they provide grants. So I think that would be a good avenue for you to look to your industry. But also, if you are, there are just some generic grants, like if you are a woman-owned business, look for a woman-owned business grant. You just happen to be in the area of travel advisors. But what are you doing a little differently? That is really what is going to make the difference for all of you. What are you doing a little differently that me as a foundation will say, that organization is a little special? Because when you think about it, there are probably hundreds of thousands of travel advisors. What is making you different as to why I should give you money over another travel advisor? All right. All right. Let's see. The recording will be sent. The recording will be sent. All right. Let's see. All right. Let me make sure other questions. It is absolutely self-paced. It's not held in the evening. It's not held during the day. It's self-paced. Everything is online. It's a digital course. All right. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Joby. Yes, you have until Sunday to get the additional $200 off so that you can place yourself in position to start getting grants. I only saw one grant site for logistics transportation, transport.gov. Never heard of that site, don't know what it is, but that's not how you are going to be looking for grants. Because if you Google, this is the fault in Googling. If you Google grants for, what is this? Logistics / transportation, I'm surprised you came up with that one. That's just not how you look for grants. That's like really not the way in which you look for. There's a format to this, and that's what I teach you in the course. There's a framework as to how you look for grants. All right. It's not just Googling whatever your industry is, because if you Google it, you may not come up with anything. That's just not how you find grants. Yes, what are startup grants specifically for? Is for your startup costs, for your operating costs, right? When you start a business, depending upon what your business is, maybe you need to hire staff, right? So you could pay for money for your staff. Think about your initial costs. What do you need to start your organization? And a lot of that depends on whether or not you have a home-based company or maybe you have a physical location. Let's say you have a physical location, you need to pay the lease. You need to pay for your utilities. You need to pay for your staff to get up and running. So your startup cost is the cost of you getting up and running. What are those initial costs until you start either earning revenue, right, or generating some type of income? And this is something that's really interesting because I hear this a lot. There's an assumption that nonprofits can't charge for their services. Like nothing could be further from the truth. I always use the example of the Cleveland Clinic, right? One of the top hospitals in the world, right here where I am, right? $1 billion budget, billions, right? They're nonprofit. They're nonprofit. All right. The funders that are geared towards women, let's see. Let me try to share. Let me try to see if I can go back. This screen here was the screen, but you're going to get the replay. So I'll show this to you quickly, but this is where you look. HelloAlice.com, NerdWallet.com has a list of grants for women. Her Rise is a separate individual grant. Cartier has a grant for women. Amber Grants for Women. 37angels.com. Let's say you want an investor, they give money to women's organizations up to $150,000. Tory Burch is a designer. She has a grant for women of color. So this is just literally what, 8? There are many, many, many others. And then, of course, we help you with that in the course. All right. What state is your boot camp for? My boot camp is geared for anybody that signs up to the boot camp. So it's not for a particular state. It focuses on your organization, right? So for example, the first boot camp, the February 27th, 28th boot camp, the 2 organizations were in Seattle, Washington. So that's where we focused, right? It depends on where you're located. We're going to focus on where you are located. So if you're in Washington, D.C., we're going to focus on funding and grant opportunities for you in Washington, D.C. If you're in California, we're going to focus on grant opportunities for you in California. So we're going to focus on local grant opportunities, but also national grant opportunities, right? So regardless of where you're located, we're going to do both. We're going to look at some local grant opportunities and national grant opportunities. And then of the list, we're going to choose one grant, right? And through the process of what you're learning, we're going to make sure that you have that application done before we end, plus your complete grant template. And when you take that grant template, you're going to be able to apply over and over and over again. But the boot camp is customized to whomever is a part of the boot camp. So what we don't do is just do generic, right? Generic searches. No, because you're going to be working, right, on your particular area. And what I do is I show you where to find grants germane to what you do, who you serve. But absolutely, because remember I said it's easier to get local grants. We're going to start local, but you'll also get a list of national grants. And then we're going to choose one. All right. All right, let's see. Are there grants for those that need it to aid in developing their business and put together? That depends on what you need. Like, what do you mean? Are there grants for those that need it to aid in developing their business and put together business portfolios, right? Specifically, what is it that you're asking? When you say aid in developing your business. So the operating grants are to shore up your infrastructure, right? So you have, let's say you have administrative costs. That's what the operating grants are for, is to help you literally build your business. That is what an operating grant is, to build your business or to build your nonprofit. You may have heard of the term capacity building grants, right? Whether it's a capacity building grant or an operating grant, they exist to help you strengthen your core business so that you're paying for the expenses that will help you strengthen your organization. That's exactly what an operating grant is for. All right. Everything is being recorded. You're going to get the Q&A too. Excuse me. Everything is being recorded. All right. And you'll get the chat because there are some really important links in the chat. You'll get the chat as well. All right. I'm going to wrap it up because I don't see any other questions. Let me just look one more time through the webinar chat. Yes, you've got 3 days. You have until Sunday. Hopefully I will see you in the Facebook group. Again, because I just held the group coaching call on Monday, when you come into the Facebook group after you bought the course, I'm going to ask you to introduce your organization. I'm going to help you immediately. I'm going to show you where you can find a few grants. All right. Immediately. All right. So let me make sure. If you have more questions about the boot camp, send me an email. Melissa, if you could just drop my email into the webinar chat. Those of you who have questions about the boot camp, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And let's see. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Let me make sure this is pulled up. All right. And then let me share one other opportunity that you might be interested in. For those of you who want ongoing accountability, right? You want to meet with me on a regular basis. I do have ongoing grant coaching where we meet either for 3 months or we meet for 6 months. The 3-month program is $19.97. The 6-month program is $37.97. We meet on a regular basis. I do grant reviews, right, to make sure that I'm looking at the grant before you submit it. I'm teaching you how to write. These are private sessions, just you and me. So you get personalized help. I'm teaching you AI. So the 3-month program is $19.97. The 6-month program is $37.97. You have the option to buy an ongoing grant coaching program to keep you accountable, right? And some of you are interested in the boot camp. It's May 8th and May 9th. Again, you leave with a completed grant application. It's 2 months worth of work in 2 days. But you got to be ready, like clear that calendar. All right. It's a lot of work, but it is worth it. Again, Keisha just attended the one, what, 8 months ago? I'm sorry, 8 weeks ago. She's literally over $100,000, right? Dominique attended the one last month. She gave a testimonial. All right. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I believe that is it. Do you have to have a tax ID to get a grant? Yes, you do. Hello at grantwritingfornonwriters.com. That is my email address. Oh, I see. I was trying to say that I don't have a running business yet, but I would like to get further information on uh, getting further assistance. I'm going to recommend that you go to SCORE. I'm going to put the website into the chat. So score.com is funded by the Small Business Administration, and it consists of retired executives, and they serve as your mentors when you are wanting to start a business. So I would recommend that you Google SCORE to find out which office is closest to you so that they can assign you with a mentor. And they're all about what you need to do to start a business. All right, let me make sure I've answered all of the questions. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm optimistic that the IRS will release hold on the account soon. It will definitely take course for the LLC business. I think I must have missed um, a comment or a question. If you're waiting on documentation from the IRS, just keep communicating with them. Keep in mind, a significant amount of their staff was fired or let go. So I'm sure they're doing the best they can. All right, let's see. All right, we are done. All right. I want to thank you all so much for hopping on. Keep in mind, you get the bonuses, you get the list of grants, right? The Buy Black list of grants for Black organizations. You get the AI resource so that you understand how to use AI. My email address has been dropped. I want to thank you all for hopping on because I know you could have been elsewhere. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I will see you all over the course of the next 3 days. I really want you to do this for you so that you can be in a community of support and you're not wondering, like, how do I get grants? What do I need to do? You'll have a support system to help you do exactly what you need to do, right, to get the funding. All right. So thank you so much. I hope I will see you. And whatever you do, keep moving. Like, don't give up. Keep moving forward. This is very important. Again, you'll get the replay probably either tonight or tomorrow morning. So review it and hopefully make this commitment to yourself and be a part of a community where people are here to help you get grant funding. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy, creator of the course Grant Writers for Non Grant Grant Writing for Non-Writers. Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and Lepov Consulting. So thank you so much and have a safe and a blessed weekend. And whatever you do, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Don't be discouraged. The money is available. Like, learn how to get it. And that's what we do. That's what we teach you. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.